Hello, everyone. I'm Linda Ferguson,
I'm Karen Nelson Bell.
and welcome to Platinum Prime Podcast. So, it is the end of 2024, and this episode is going to be our end of the year reflections and what we have planned for the year coming up. Okay, so Karen, I hope you had a good holiday season.
Good holiday season. I sure did. There was a lot of music involved. I played at a concert for the Artists for a Better World, and I played at my church for somebody to sing 5 different Christmas songs. And my joy is to play piano and people stand around. I mean, this is what I've done since I was a kid, was to play piano for people to sing carols to. So it was very nice. I really liked it. And I got to go see a really good movie. That I like a movie marathon over Christmas. So yeah, it was a good holiday.
Wonderful. I also had one that was lovely. Lots and lots of friends, surrounded by friends. None of my family is nearby except my ex-husband and his significant other, who we happen to be very close friends. So that actually worked out okay, but lots of friends over.
We had some holiday festivities ourselves, didn't we? We had a wonderful trip to the movies and for me, dinner and a movie is a great celebration of any occasion, anniversaries, birthdays. Just dinner and a movie is all I need to be really happy. And that we had such a good meal and such a good movie, and it was really fun.
It was lovely. And this Platinum Prime podcast, Platinum Prime for Life, our podcast now is ending its first year. As we want to say thank you to everyone who has joined us on this initial journey, which is going to continue. And that is a journey on how to live a Platinum Prime life when you're in your Platinum years. So, and for us, that's 50 years and older. Because when you talk to youngers, the younger generation,
Youngers.
right. And so now the older I get, the the definition of younger actually continues to change. But it's until you achieve the whatever point you are in your life, you actually can't, you can kind of guess what it's going to be like, but you don't know. And it's really sometimes startling. Like, you may feel fit as a fiddle when you're younger, and then as you get older, your body just starts to withdraw some of the resources that it's been providing you, and you have to work harder to keep everything going exactly the way you'd like to go. So, I want to thank everyone.
The warranty, I like to say the warranty on my knees ran out.
Yeah. No, different parts. Yeah. Visits to the doctor, unfortunately, even if you've been super healthy and you never go to doctors, and that was me, it just comes up more because you actually should just check in with how your body's doing. Because you and your body have gone a long way to arrive at whatever point you're at. And so, anyway, trips to the doctor, which were never part of my life, have become part of my life, and it sucks. And I'm very healthy, almost never get sick, so still there. But the recap for the year is the year overall has had some very interesting moments, but in the end, wouldn't you agree, Karen, that there's a lot to be thankful for? There's just is a lot.
I have some enormous gratitude for the year 2024. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you? What stands out?
What stands out actually is how important a holistic life is. And by that I mean that you're incorporating all parts of your life into most of the activities that you strategically put into your life. So rather than burning all the midnight oil on some thing or another, which takes away from your sleep or it takes away from time spent with loved ones, a balance is something that, happily I've achieved it more or less this past year. And so for me, lots to be grateful for at the end of the year as I look at all that I have. There's a lot that I have and a lot that I'm thankful for. You being one of those wonderful parts of my life.
Well, we think of it in terms of 4 different areas. You think physical,
Mm-hmm.
mental, emotional, spiritual, and we have to, in order to be balanced, we have to have some grace in all 4, don't we?
Right, we do. Absolutely. So, some of the things we talked about last year, which were topics of interest, was fear and overcoming fear. And it's one of the things that still, I think a lot of people hit an area of unknown. They don't know about it, and it makes them sort of fearful. And what can you do to overcome it? So that episode, which I will link in our show notes, is one you might want to go back and listen to. So that was one. You talked about the foundations of living a platinum prime life. Really, really good.
Okay.
If I asked you, Karen, what are the foundations of living a platinum prime life? Could you answer that question?
I could answer it right this minute, but I might answer it differently than I answered it then. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But really, the 4 things I just mentioned, I think a platinum prime life, you have to find homeostasis in all 4 of those things. I mean, if you are, yes, I could answer that.
And what is homeostasis again?
Well, when your body is in homeostasis, it's at that point where it's balanced and it just is chugging right along. You're in homeostasis. Stasis meaning static, like a place where it doesn't change up and down wildly, and homeo like us. Homo sapiens.
So that's body, but what does it have to do with spirituality and all the other things?
I use the word homeostasis allegorically for mental, emotional, spiritual. If you find some
allegorically, okay.
Well,
let's go with it. What does that mean, allegorically?
Well, Aesop's fables, they were allegories. They're like little nuggets that are principles.
Yeah. Okay. So it means you're giving an example to demonstrate a principle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I love it. Just in case someone runs into what did she mean there?
Sure. You're right. You're so right.
Okay, good. It is. Anyway, it is what it is. All right. And then the most popular episode we had, which I am not going to link because I actually was a little bit embarrassed, but it was Love and Sex Over 50. And that one, sex sells, I gotta say. And so that one was popular.
That's hysterical. Oh my God. When I say this, it doesn't write. 2 little old ladies. We are not 2 little old ladies. We are 2 ladies, and we're not little. And maybe old is not a nice way to describe it. So we're not 2 little old ladies, but 2 little old ladies talking about love and sex. I don't know. It doesn't sound right.
Do you know? Well,
wasn't there that lady Ruth, some doctor who talked all about
Dr. Ruth.
Was it Dr. Ruth?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to take my sex advice from a little old lady.
Well, I think it's great advice.
I don't need any advice because I don't have any, so that's not necessary.
There you go. We're not actually going to go there, except I actually just want to say, it's personal preference, and as you go through life, you will discover what yours is. And so moving on forward it has whatever importance it has in your life, but it may be very important, I think, for the rest of your life. So to me, that is an important episode, simply because as a little aside, I have someone that I'm very close to and is roughly the same age, who just discovered someone who's very well matched, and suddenly his life has smoothed out. It's hit that homeostasis, and it was unbalanced. He really was focused on finding the right one and looking and dating and dating and looking and spending money and looking and dating. And it kind of drove me insane, quite honestly. He's a close friend of mine. And, but you know, he said privately, he said, I just want to find someone who adores me. Honestly, that's what I want. And I said, that is the right thing. Find someone who adores you. And then life can be balanced in that way. So, but moving on, that was a popular episode. And if you, the listeners, want to hear more in the future, we'll do another one and we'll have some guest speakers on the next time. Maybe some experts in the area. It would be fun. Okay, so now one of the things that I really narrowed in on, I am in the financial services industry. That is what I do as my profession. And I chose it as something to specialize in because growing up, I wasn't educated. I came from a family that I think by the time they were in their 20s, maybe mid-20s, my parents had declared bankruptcy twice. So they really didn't have much financially, and so they knew how to save money, buy a home, save more money, don't rack up too many debts, pay cash for everything. And that was one way to live, and it was a way that worked for us growing up, but we never had that much money. I mean, my whole life. So I kind of just lived in a household where that was the norm. And it impacted me poorly as I got older. So I decided in this chapter of my life, I was going to really triumph over that. And I've spent the last couple of years really digging deep. And it's been good. And I want to help others, other mature adults, but especially women, triumph as well. So that's what I've been specializing in, and I'm finding great satisfaction and also some difficulties, like just for me trying to banish old habits and stuff like that. But that's what I'm doing these days. I'm loving it, and next year is lining up to be an amazing year for myself and the business that I'm in, which is Secure Financial Services. What are the highlights of your year, Karen?
Well, we're both giving service to people who want to live their best prime life. Yeah. They've got platinum in their hair. They're probably in the prime. They would like it to be the prime of their life, not a bad ending to decades of work. So I'm focused more on health and wellness, and to that end, I provide a lot of services and make a lot of resources available. Whether I'm just giving somebody the direction to go, like I just found a new technique for falling asleep for people who have trouble with the mind, the mind overtaking and chatter and too many thoughts swirling. I found an absolutely incredible technique to handle that. And so I'm going to be presenting that pretty soon. So whether it's a product I have, because I do have I market for a multi-million-dollar company that has products that have helped me maintain, I think, a really good, for 80 years being on this earth, I'm pretty spunky. So they've helped me to be spunky. And so I allow that, but also just finding all kinds of resources, like which kind of doctor to go to, or what, all things that have nothing to do with you buying anything. They just have to do with you knowing about certain ideas that would help you live a better life. when you're getting older. And by the way, everybody is. Oh yeah, I mean we're all
Getting older?
getting older, so
Yeah.
I'm not especially focused on women, but it's interesting that most of my followers are women more than men. I would say maybe 70-30,
Mm.
70 women, 30 men. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. And yes, and our followers are the same. We have mostly women, maybe because we're women. We must appeal to women because we're women, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so some key takeaways for the year. So I'm going to talk about finances. Again, that's because I've been putting a whole lot of attention on it. So both Karen and I have done some study technology stuff, meaning when you study a subject, it's very, very important that you understand the principles of that subject. You understand the key words of the subject and really what the subject's about. Because if you try and tackle something at a wrong gradient, at a wrong level, you're going to quickly become overwhelmed. So it's true for finances, it's true for technology, it's true for health. When you become overwhelmed about something, it's very easy, and you rely on experts to tell you things that you might accept. They may or may not be true, but you might accept them as true because you figure that that person has spent some time studying it and they obviously know more than you. So my key takeaways in regards to finances, and something that I'm about to launch my own training for, is in finances, learning the very basics, and not like what is a dollar and where does a dollar come from. Those things are helpful, but some of it is mindset. Like, how did you grow up? I just shared that I grew up in a family that was very used to never having enough money. And so overcoming that knee jerk, which was in my household, it was, can we do this? No. That was like the instant response that we got for anything. We couldn't have something nice because we didn't have finances. We couldn't go out to eat because it was too expensive. And I thought, oh, well, I have money now and I shouldn't have any attention on that. But no, my mindset still encounters those habits that my parents instilled on, this is how you deal with money. You just don't spend it. And I'm really great at not spending money a lot of the time. So some of the basics, mindset, financial terms, how things work, how do you pay a bill, how do you set up a budget, how do you check in and structure things so that you're not seeing something, bright and shiny bauble or whatever, and it's not that much money, and you go, well, it's not that much money, I think I'll just buy it. And you do, and it starts the cascade of, oh, no, I'm going to spend a lot more. That felt great. I'm going to do some more. Those things can undermine an overall financial goal. So basic financial education, basic financial planning, and I'm being certified as a financial planning coach. Yeah.
This is
Which is
fantastic, Linda. Wow.
So it's teaching and learning at the same time, because as I teach people, it just gives me much more learning for myself as well. Okay, so anyway, that's like a key takeaway for me is I had a lot more work to do than I expected. I'm licensed and certified to do a whole lot of things, and I do them well, but undercutting it and actually the basic knowledge is bringing such clarity that it's delightful. I love it.
It's fantastic. Wow.
Thank
I'm so
you.
proud of you.
Thank you. How about you, Karen?
And by the way, I don't think it's easy because I decided to become certified as an insurance representative, and I took the course and I completed everything, and it was hard. I mean, I thought it was hard. So I know a little teeny nanoparticle of what you've had to learn, and you've got probably like 1,000-fold more classes and trainings than what I did, and I'm very much in admiration of you. I'm so excited. Maybe I have to be one of your clients.
Oh, you know what? It's fun.
I've never been your client in that way. We've helped each other, we've coached each other on certain things, but we've never discussed this area.
Absolutely. Well, I will definitely happily deliver. It's one-on-one coaching, and it's 4 sessions, 45 minutes for each one. And at the end of it, it's actually a very stellar change. For everyone I've worked with, it's stellar. So,
Please, just got a client.
okay, good. I love it.
I think that's pretty cool. Oh my gosh. So, what about me? What are my key takeaways? The biggest thing I learned really drove home was that every person has to find their own right path, because I have solutions that have worked for tens of thousands of people, but they might not work for you. You have to, the person has to experiment. And so my goal now is not so much to bring a certain product or bring a certain concept. My approach is now helping that person to navigate finding their own way, because they don't know how to do the research. I do know how to do the research. I mean, one of the keys is you go to pubmed.gov, where all the white papers and the actual research is, and you'll find millions, literally millions of papers that you can research on any given topic. You'll find, I have a whole body vibration plate, and I use this to increase bone density and lymph drainage and muscle growth. And I had a particular chiropractor say to me that it was BS, and so I sent her to the papers that say, no, this is the actual. These are the studies where they did it on people, and this is the results, and it's not BS. So I really want to provide that guidance for a person to find their own path. And their path might not be the same as mine. It might be the same as mine, but it might not. And that's one thing. The other thing from the year, Linda, that I learned, being somewhat a new resident in Florida, I'm 4 years permanent. I've been here since, I think I came for the first time around 1990. And then after my husband passed in 05, I came back and forth a lot. But I've been a full-time resident for about 4 years. And so the other takeaway is don't mess around with your hurricane preparedness. You need to prepare. You need to be prepared for the hurricane. And now I know. Now I know what it's really like to live through a devastating hurricane. And we had, I was safe. My property was generally safe. I had 3 areas of water intrusion, but I have friends who lost everything, and they have friends who lost their lives. So hurricane preparedness was a big thing for 2024.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't personally know of anyone who lost their lives, and I am so sad to hear that. That's horrifying. Yeah, but this was a year, as far as hurricanes go, I've never seen anything like this year. I've never seen the devastation the way that it's
still fighting it. I still, as I drive around, I don't always take the same way, just because as a real estate investor, I've always been trained to take different routes, because you may never know what you're going to find as a property. And there's so many places where there are dead brush, dead branches, dead trees, gigantic. Now, there was a lot of brush outside of your house, I remember, from the hurricane. I mean, I even took pictures. There were trees whose trunks were as tall, the diameter of that trunk was taller than I am tall, which is I'm 5'5" or something like that. And Did they get taken away?
Mhm.
I'm so glad, because there are many places where they did not. They're still standing.
There are. Yeah, I could say a lot about tree removal, but and then our energy company hired tree crews from other states primarily to remove trees from the high power lines. And we happened to have a property that had high power lines nearby. And we just had 5 huge old oak trees taken out. So that was part of the tree stuff that you saw. But the state is still reeling from that. And one of our guests the other night had 2 homes that were both flooded. One was 4 feet of water, and the other one was, I think, 2 feet of water. And basically everything in the houses, both of them, had to be torn out. And he said he just now, so one was an investment property that was almost sold and is unsold. Both homes, I think, were just about to close contract on sales. So they both are back to him, and he is working nonstop. Anyway, just now he ripped out all the walls in one of them, and the whole thing sealed up so that all the moisture gets sucked out and all the mold gets taken away. It's horrible. So
She does bring up another thing that I've observed, and I've observed it personally as well. But it came to my attention through a veterinarian who said that there were so many animals coming in sick, and the veterinarian said, here's why: because the hurricane, especially for us in Central Florida, on the West Coast, because the Hurricane Milton stirred up stuff that was under the ocean or under the ground and put all of that into the air, and then people had from the water had instantly there was mold. There's no place in Florida where there isn't mold on any given day, but then this just like put it all into the air, and I got a cough, and I couldn't figure out why I had a cough. It just was a cough, and then I found out I had 10 friends who had a cough, and you thought, well, is this a new virus? No. It was Hurricane Milton. It was Hurricane Milton stirring up some stuff that our bodies didn't really want to have in them, and so our immune response took over, and I'm coughing out the stuff that my body doesn't want in it, and that kind of devastation can go on for who knows, unless you're aware that, oh, I need to do something to buff up my immune system. And part of the health and wellness for all of us seniors, we have to take responsibility, because we're at risk whenever there's another if there's another time in our lives where there's some kind of a virus or whatever it is going around. We have a responsibility to make our immune systems be strong and formidable, be a fortress against whatever's coming our way. And I'm taking that pretty seriously, and I will say that's part of what I also want to bring to people is resources to keep your immune system chugging right along. Yeah.
absolutely critical. And you mentioned animals. I had not heard that animals were impacted by that.
Terribly.
It's interesting. Just speaking of airborne things, which, I mean, I hate to bring it up, but so anything in the air that enters your body, if you have a weakened immune system, can affect you. Or if your body's not encountered it before, it is an immune system thing that it's not yet built up the defenses to fight against. So just a super basic on immune systems is the body has an adverse effect or reacts to something, and then the immune system kicks in and says, well, next time that comes around, we'll know what to do. And so COVID was one of those things where there was no defense because the body hadn't really encountered it before. Well, I was talking to New Yorkers who were talking about asbestos, and asbestos was common and prevalent everywhere growing up in the 50s. And there were people that were impacted by it, but it wasn't really super known about, and it wasn't such a big thing. So fast forward to 9/11 and the Twin Towers coming down. And my husband, who's a New Yorker, said part of what happened to first responders that were so adversely affected and many of them died was that that building was just riddled with asbestos. That because it had just been dormant for decades and decades, and asbestos, in paint or anywhere where it's not in the air, doesn't impact you. It has to be airborne and enter your lungs, and then it can wreak lots of havoc.
Wow.
But those dust clouds that just rolled out across the city were loaded with asbestos, and that was that. So,
well, I have a happier story. Well, it's not exactly happy. I just finished watching White Christmas, which is kind of a tradition with me every year, and I always go to IMDb, the International Movie Database, to read about the movie that I've just seen, because I like to see all the details, and they have trivia and tells all kinds of things. And when it finally snowed in the final scene, when it was snowing in White Christmas, guess what it was made out of?
what?
Yes, because that's what we're talking about. The
Asbestos?
snow is out of asbestos.
Would
Oh,
not.
oh my gosh.
Would
Here they
not
are singing
today.
it.
Wow.
You're singing it, you're involving your lungs, a lot, and they had no idea they were inhaling in
Oh
asbestos.
my gosh. Well, okay. So we have a new year that is about to begin. So let's talk about it.
All right.
What are your plans and goals for the year coming up? What are your hopes and dreams?
I have a really interesting year end this year, because almost every year my new goals involve my physical self and my financial self. Those are the two things that you and I talk about all the time, physical and financial.
Okay.
And this is the first year in my entire life that I am coming to the new year having met my physical goals.
Nice.
I don't have to say I'm going to lose weight in the new year. I don't have to say I'm going to start exercising in the new year. No, I have to commit to maintaining, but now you see it's a habit. So the thought of making it into a pledge or a New Year's resolution doesn't make much sense, because it's just natural to me. And that's never happened. And it's the most, I'm going to do a whole podcast on it just to talk about what that's like and how one could get there, so that your resolutions could be something, take your attention off of this thing and put it someplace more fun. And so I do have plans for expanding my business. I really look forward to expanding my business and expanding my coaching and consulting and helping people. And I suppose I will make a resolution to say, help more people. Help more people. I saw, what was a quote I saw? Maybe I wonder if I can catch this quote. No, I don't think I can find it in time. But just that helping people is the best thing there is we can do. It's what we were made. It's what we're DNA coded to do, is to help people. So I think my pledge this year, my New Year's resolution, will be along those lines of helping more people, finding better ways to help more people. That would be a good resolution. But it never again has to be, it never ever again has to be, I'm going to go on a diet, or I'm going to find a way to fit exercise into my life, because it's just not relevant anymore. And I'm taking so much I take pleasure in it, because I ate up a storm. You saw what I ate. I ate a lot of food tonight when we went to dinner. I didn't gain a single pound the next day.
Nice.
Thanks to my products Activate and Transform and Enrich, I didn't gain any weight, even though I ate like a pig. And the next day I ate even more and I didn't gain weight. So I don't know. It's like, okay, I think I've cracked the code. And where did I end off? Yeah, just the fact of finding a way to help more people, to help them help them find their happy ending.
I love
I
it.
guess that's what I would like to say. How about you?
Well, I am well on my way to having an amazing year this year coming up. So, this past year, 2024, it's felt to me like putting key things in place and getting used to those things. So, I experienced a lot of learning, and the year coming up was taking all of the lessons that I've learned this year. So, for 2025, it's realizing the potential of everything that I've put in place. So I have a business partner, and he and I are so excited. We have an incredible year lined up. I got married last year, so I'll be coming to my first anniversary with a husband who I just adore. And, I think about the fact that I truly adore my husband, and I think it's mutual. I'm pretty sure it is. And we are very well suited. And so getting the rhythm in place last year so that we are living a very nice life has happened. And now it's working together to get things done. So that part's really good. My family, which is a very key part for me, is everybody's doing well and continues to do well. And I always, as Mama Linda, I always do have attention on that. I have amazing friends. Some friends I do business with. Some friends are just special in the ways that they are special to me. So all those things are good. So goal-wise, it's more travel. I do want to do more travel coming up. I did a bit of it this year, but I actually want to do more with my husband. And I think we're going to be able to do that. Financially, I'm on the 10X path. And for me, financially, I'm in a business where that can be very, very good. But it's giving the quality of service where when we get paid for it, it's because we've taken someone to a financial goal that they consider as a best fit for them, and that we feel really good about the fact that, yes, this will serve them in the way they want to be served. So I love that. I love being very trustworthy as far as finances go, and having the person's best financial future in mind. So I'm very, very excited. And then spiritually, I have some nice goals there as well. I like to feed the spirit every year, and so I have that lined up, and some goals there. And then for everyone listening, goals and having a goal that you've dreamed that you really want, but one you connect with steps that you can take to get there. In my way of thinking, and probably yours as well, Karen, is so important. It's important to know what you're working toward. It's important to know what the outcome is that you're aiming for so that you have a direction to move in. So for Karen and I, as the Platinum Prime ladies, we want to help you come along with us on the journey to goal achievement for this year coming up, which I'm pretty sure is going to be one of the best years yet. How about you, Karen? And with that, so we're saying goodbye to 2024 and hello to the new year. Have a happy new year.
You stay fabulous, you stay fearless, and you stay tuned for more.
Bye, everyone.